Hey guys, welcome to another Hunter video. I'm a Night Elf Hunter on the Whisperwind server, and right now I am gonna talk to you about what I like to listen to, read, and watch on my spare time. So, first of all, if you wanna find out where you can find all the things that I list, go to my website at TribunalXHunter.com, and I'll have the list of the things that I do listed there and the links to where you can find them. And also I've created a Twitter, so you can follow me on Twitter at TribunalXHunter. So I'll start with podcasts that I listen to. My favorite podcast is definitely yet another World of Warcraft podcast, or YAWAP for short. Now the three hosts, they have a unique sense of humor, and they have some explicit language on this podcast, but it still makes me laugh while I'm at work. They have, again, I said, a special sense of humor, and you should definitely check them out because their humor is unique and none of the other podcasts have them. And so see why they are my favorite podcast. The next one, which comes as a close second, is Outlandish Podcast. Now the hosts there are very funny as well, and the content is explicit, but they have a very well-made podcast, so I would definitely recommend them as well. The other one that I listen to is The Instance. They're probably one of the most famous podcasts that I know of, and they're very entertaining. One of the hosts plays a hunter, so that's always good. Unfortunately, they're horde, so what can you do? They're still a great podcast. Another podcast is WoW Insider. Now, if you read WoW Insider at wowinsider.com, then you probably know about this podcast already. They talk about WoW news and WoW related news, and it's a very entertaining podcast. If Terpster has got to be one of my favorite guys on there, he's just joke after joke hilarious. Another podcast, actually, some honorable mentions of podcasts that I listen to. They're not my favorites or not within my top 4, but that doesn't mean they're any less good. And so they are All Things Azeroth, The Grind, How I WoW, and World of Warcast. Next, I'll mention some YouTube channels that I watch that are WoW related. So first is WoW Hobbs. Now he's been making videos for a very long time. You probably have seen his videos, the one that kind of copied off of gold farming in Northrend. He has quite a big following on YouTube, and watching his videos on YouTube actually made me start to WoW. So I guess we all have him to thank for that. He plays a human paladin, and he has a patented Hobbs way of pulling. So I'm a big fan of his, and I would definitely give him my recommendation if you're gonna watch a WoW video on YouTube. So give him a subscribe there. Next is Ciderhelm, who posts videos for TankSpot. Now they're not too frequent posters, but when they do, you know the videos will be good. And if you raid, or if you're in a raiding guild, or have ever raided, then you've most likely watched their videos on YouTube to learn strategies on killing raid bosses. So go check them out, go subscribe, you'll not regret it. And last but not least is Loneswow, who was one of my first subscribers, and he makes videos with his Night Elf Hunter, but he also has some other characters, Paladin and Mage, and he just makes videos about leveling, guides, gold making tips. So go over there, subscribe to him, and check him out. Now lastly, I'm gonna mention 2 websites that I read. First is WoW Insider, or wow.com. They're both the same. They had a name change recently, so they're officially called wow.com now. They post news every single day, probably on an hourly basis, maybe even less than that, about every profession, every class, every change ever, or every related news, even close to WoW. They also featured one of my videos of when I soloed Utgard Keep on their website also. So go and check them out, and if you want to see the video or see the feature that I was on, then go to my website and I'll have a link on this post. Now, my very last recommendation is MMO Champion. Now, MMO Champion is just a site for the more serious WoW reader. If you don't want any of the mumbo jumbo, like, you know, a writer's perspective or anything else, and you just want news, then definitely go here. Because if you go here, you'll find nothing but what happened to your class, what happened to your profession, and they're all clearly listed out. So if you visit every day or every week, you can just go through the list and find out what pertains to you and take the information and put it into the game when it does come out. So that's it. And don't forget to check out my website, TribunalXHunter.com, and follow me on Twitter, TribunalXHunter. And thanks very much for watching, and take care. Till next time.